If you're a partner, I couldn't come up with 3 E's, but I came up with a BCD for them. So I'll start with the C. The C is all around customizing the team for them. It's no longer around taking people that are sitting on your bench and building a team out of them. If you're going to build a client's product, the client first needs technology alignment, but more importantly, the client will need domain alignment. You need to find the people that understand the domain. So if you're working in an airline industry, try and find someone that has worked in the airline industry. It's like the Boeing example. When Boeing wanted to turn the plane around, they went to the people that were working on the ground to see what needs to get done. The third thing, which is typically ignored and is most important, is to ensure that there is a cultural alignment between your teams and the client teams. Because effectively, these guys are collectively working together to produce the product. Once you have built this team, now these teams need to be dedicated to the client. So that's the D part of the BCD. The client really is investing the first year in training these people. Even though they may have come with the same technology background, are culturally aligned, have the domain expertise, it still takes time to understand the client processes. It still takes time to understand the client's end users. It's only in year 2, 3, and 4 these guys become highly productive. So the client cannot afford to lose these people in years 2, 3, and 4. So as a service provider, if you see a new client coming in, don't be tempted to take the best people and employ them in the other, for the new client. You've got to stay put. So, and simply as an example, no member of the team enters or exits a client team without client consent. That's how we give our returns to the client. It's hard to do, but it's a commitment you make, and it's a commitment that pays off in the long run. The third one is around B, the B of the BCD, which is making sure that the employees of their organization are aligned well with the business of the client. They understand the end user business of the client. I'll give you an example. When most of our employees talk about the client and they say, we did this, we did that, typically the we is referring to the client and not to Symphony.
Could you wind up?
Okay.
We just have 2 minutes left.
Moving ahead, this is the last slide. The next important relationship now is between the client and the end user. So for a service provider, it is not only important to be closely associated with the client, but needs to be closely associated with the client end user. Let me elaborate. When you talk about R&D, and you talk about revenue generation thrives and survives on new ideas and new innovations. And these new innovations won't come from your teams unless these people understand the need of the client end user. They need to get under the skin of the client end user. And an example of this is in Symphony Services, we have hired product managers that serve that purpose, that become the conduit between the client end users and the engineers at the set. This is how we get all the issues that the client end users are dealing with back into the engineering organization. It's also important to expose your engineers to the client end users. And the way we do it is having our engineers participate in client end user conferences. These are very, very exciting times we are living in. It's the beginning of the new wave. It's the beginning of the wave that is bringing core R&D work It's the beginning of the wave that is impacting client revenue. It's a top-line impact. It's where the industry, the IT industry is changing. This excitement or this potential to change the IT industry so that it would have a top-line impact really brought me back to India 5 years ago. And I had spent 23 plus years in the Silicon Valley. In turn, I cajoled and convinced 100 other people to come back. And maybe I'm responsible for a little bit of reverse mentoring. Sorry, for you living in Silicon Valley or in the Bay Area. But times are changing. I live in a community where there are about 550 homes. About 100 people are Caucasian from Europe or US. There are about 300 that have relocated like me. And then another 150 are long-term Bangaloreans. So it's an enormously great melting pot for our kids. Talking about the kids, when we relocated, my kids used to complain saying, hey, when are we going back? And now I know, if I tell them I'm going back, they'll say, hey Dad, go ahead, we're going to stay here. Anyway, the key part of that is this mingling of cross cultures, this interaction with the cross cultures is going to create a strong intimacy and a strong customer environment. And in spite of our kids' generation will have a much smaller cultural intimacy and a customer intimacy than we have been experiencing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.